It's so good to be able to come together with you here today on the beautiful lands of the Ngunnawal people. Thank you, Amy, for sharing Auntie Serena's powerful words. I pay my respects to the resilience, knowledge and sharing of Ngunnawal elders past, present and emerging. My name is Dhani Gilbert. I am a proud, young Wiradjuri woman from the beautiful rivers of central New South Wales. My people's continuing culture and connection stretches back 65,000 years and counting. Yindiamara to my family, mob, culture and ancestors for providing for me a guiding strength, knowledge and resilience. Marin Naran to all you mob. I'm so proud to be amongst awesome humans who are committed to creating safer and more inclusive communities for us all. Ending the devastating pandemic of women being impacted by violence is critical for the well-being of every human on this planet. The racist construct of First Nations people as lesser people since colonisation has devastatingly enabled abhorrent violence, acts of genocide and profound disadvantage for my peoples. Leaving us with legacies of intergenerational trauma and the continuing realities of racism and inequality for First Nations peoples in this country that remains inadequately addressed and constantly downplayed. I ask that we here today do not turn a blind eye to the fact that historic and contemporary structural inequalities remain an intertwined part of First Nations women's experiences, as there is a far too long accepted status quo for young First Nations women, that the most bleakest of statistics for young women in this country will continue to be our reality. First Nations young women have disproportionately poorer outcomes in health, education, employment and life expectancy that continue to be accepted as social facts. Here in the ACT, we are more likely to grow up in poverty and be impacted by violence than obtain a tertiary entrance score to access university. As within the unacceptable rates at which women experience violence in this country, First Nations women are overrepresented. We are 3 times more likely to experience sexual violence and 5 times more likely to experience physical violence in our lives. I cannot accept this as a continuing reality for myself and my sisters. We, all women, have the right to be safe and to be able to thrive. Those right there are real social facts that can and should be the cultural norm within our society. I ask that we continually rally against people and forces that expect us to accept that any person is lesser than another. As we hear from, walk with and talk about the work being done here in our community to ensure that women can live their lives to their fullest potential, free from intimidation, harassment and violence, I am optimistic that we can and are achieving positive social change. And I hope that in your fearless pursuit for a safer and more inclusive community for all women, that I can ask that you use your presence and power to rally against racism and better support First Nations people's agency. Be vocal about refusing to accept the continuation of inequality against First Nations peoples. Stand with us in solidarity. The perfect opportunity is coming up next Saturday, the 26th of January, at the Sovereignty March. Be an enabler of First Nations self-determination. Support structural change to address injustice against First Nations peoples. Let's right the wrongs, Australia, through a treaty process as equals, where all can have the opportunity to flourish.